Well, family, friends, and colleagues are mourning the loss of the young couple gunned down outside of the Capitol Jewish Museum in D.C.
Now, this is more details emerge about the man charged in their murder. Alice Barr has the latest and what we're learning about the federal charges he'll face.
In the aftermath of the deadly shooting of two Israeli embassy staff members outside the Capitol Jewish Museum, shock is giving way to grief for the young couple killed, 30-year-old Yaron Lashinsky and 26-year-old Sarah Milgram.
She was as close to perfect as any human could be.
Sarah's father recalling her love of learning and her desire for peace, including a recent summer job.
The purpose of the organization was to bring young Palestinians and young Israelis together.
A bright future cut short by a bullet. Investigators say fired by this man, 31-year-old Elias Rodriguez.
Both an act of terror and directed violence against the Jewish community. And it has the full and unwavering attention of the FBI.
Witnesses say Rodriguez walked into the museum after the shooting, mistaken for an innocent bystander for several minutes until police arrived.
He walked right up to them. He turned himself in and said, I did this for Gaza. And then he started his chants of free Palestine.
Rodriguez now faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder and murder of foreign officials. FBI agents searched his Chicago apartment and are investigating what could be his online writings. Top officials from Capitol Hill to President Trump to Israel's prime minister condemning the attack, as those closest to the couple who were on the verge of getting engaged are left grappling with an enormous loss.
We have great memories, but the future is gone.
Hoping now for justice and peace.
That was Alice Barr reporting.
Overnight, a solemn vigil outside the White House to remember the lives of Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lashinsky. The young couple who worked together at the Israeli embassy in Washington were shot and killed after an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum.
We have great memories, but the future is gone.
Robert Milgram says his daughter was passionate about the environment and Israel and that she had met Yaron while working at the embassy.
She was as close to perfect as any human could be, and she was recently very much in love with Yaron.
Milgram says he only learned after their deaths that Yaron, an Israeli citizen, had recently purchased an engagement ring and planned to propose next week in Jerusalem. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling their alleged killer, Elias Rodriguez, a brutal terrorist.
The terrorists who cruelly gunned them down did so for one reason and one reason alone. He wanted to kill Jews.
Authorities say Rodriguez flew from Chicago to D.C. one day before the shooting with a declared firearm in his checked baggage. They say surveillance video shows Rodriguez shooting the victims from behind, then again at closer range before going into the museum. Officers saying they recovered a handgun and 21 spent shell casings at the scene after they escorted a shouting Rodriguez out of the museum.
Free Palestine!
Paige Siegel attended the museum event and heard multiple gunshots. She says she tried to comfort a man later identified as the suspect before growing suspicious of him.
I say you're at a Jewish museum, and immediately that triggered him into like his fit of rage. He starts screaming, I did it, talking about shooting the people outside.
Rodriguez now faces multiple charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder and murder of foreign officials. Investigators say more charges could be pending as they look into this as a possible hate crime and act of terror.
Make no mistake, this attack was targeted anti-Semitic violence, and it won't be tolerated.